Is the idea of virginity outdated? Sure. Just filming in New Delhi, India. Let's learn. Can we just get vibes?
I started poking her, just joking around. That's just how I am, you know. She took my hand and she licked my finger.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
COVID.
what do you think we're doing around? We're just chilling, like.
Are we gonna talk about?
Because I am asexual and haven't really had a desire to have sex yet.
Being a virgin is really important to me because it's a significant part of my religion.
I think there's definitely a lot of assumptions made about people who are virgins. I think my favorite one is the idea that people think you can look like a virgin.
My friends have always been wanting me to lose it. My friend wanted me to have sex with his cousin.
If you had your virginity intact,
Cool.
still in my high school environment, they sort of just ignored you.
When people heard like through the grapevine, oh, that so-and-so had sex, it was always seen as a bad thing.
It is mandatory that we keep ourselves pure until marriage.
This isn't cool, okay? If you wanna not fuck all you want, that's fine. I respect that. But if you're out here like I've been ordered by the God King to preserve the purity of my temple body, like that's whatever.
Pure until marriage.
I lost my virginity at 15 at a party in a garage.
Cool. So turn the music down, please.
Hey, I'm Bree. I'm a musician and content creator.
Cool.
Hi.
We could tell from the hair.
Hi guys, my name is Rahan and I'm a virgin.
My name's Skylar. I'm just
What, no applause?
And I'm a virgin.
Hi, I'm Kiani. I'm
Really?
an artist, and I'm also getting a degree in marine biology, and I'm a non-virgin.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I study psychology and theater, and I am a non-virgin.
I'm Nico. I'm 19, and I'm really scared my mom's gonna see this.
No, same.
Yeah, how does that work exactly? Are your parents aware that, are they gonna see this? This is gonna be played at like the Thanksgiving family reunion.
Agree with the statement, please walk to the circle. I feel or felt ready to lose my virginity.
Oh. Yeah, I was kind of hoping like everyone would go except for the one lady, you know?
For me, I guess I've always been ready. I just never really found the right person. And I'm not someone that's very, it doesn't really matter who it is, but I just want there to be some sort of connection between us. I'm not just gonna like hit it and just like, all right, you could go home, kick them out, you know?
That makes sense. I mean, at the time, you were ready, because they're like, she look good, I look good. It's time, I'm ready.
Did you know the person for a good while before you guys?
Is it like mentally harmful to any virgins here to see this guy who looks like this be like, yeah, dude, I just haven't been able to have sex yet, you know? Why are we watching this? It's so weird. Dip your toes into React Andy content, my friend, okay? I have plenty of political content released. Let me have fun.
I knew her for a time. I wish I knew her longer. It was my first high school party. The whole time I was feeling like, dang, this is
He
my
looks
first
like an
time.
doesn't he?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
High school
Hold
party.
on. Doesn't he look like somebody who would have been cast in one of the Twilight movies? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Like, he looks like an actor because he has a very distinctive face. I just feel like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? Yeah, okay. Chad understands what I mean.
The whole time I was feeling like, dang, this is my first time. I don't know what to do. It was like, I don't know what to do. She looks nice. Did she expect me to do everything? It was a lot of stress. I just remember it being super stressful.
Yeah.
I think I was sweating. And then, like, I wasn't even sweating because of sex. I was just sweating. Like, I couldn't even put the condom on right. It was just what it was.
Interesting.
It's so, dude, first time sex fucking sucks, dude. Everyone knows that, okay? That's a fact.
I identify as asexual, and I've never really felt comfortable in the past, in like the past couple of years or when I was in college, to lose my virginity, versus now I've come to a place where I'm more of like a sex positive, asexual would be the term. Cool. And if I had a partner nowadays or someone that I like deeply connected with, I would be down to the idea of it, but it's still not something I'm like seeking out or whatever.
Yeah,
But if
exactly.
like my partner was like, yo, this could be like fun or something, and if I would do something random with them, like maybe I would have.
That has to be a wig, right? The dye is so consistent from top to bottom. That has to be some kind of wig, right? I feel like that'd be so difficult to maintain otherwise. It is? Yeah, okay.
Sex.
So the question was, do you feel ready to lose your virginity? And
hot.
for myself, I am not ready because I am Muslim, and technically you're only allowed to lose your virginity or be intimate with anyone once you're married. So I am not married, nor am I in a relationship, or have I ever been in a relationship. So I am just saving myself, saving everything until marriage. So once I get to that point in my life.
Imagine being God cucked. True. Yeah, look, you can do whatever the fuck you want, okay? I believe in all of you. However, I will admit, I hate this attitude. I think this leads to like a really bad like relationship standard too. Cause like you get married with someone, you don't even know. Are they a good partner? You don't know. You've never been with people. You don't know who's good for you, or yeah, it's a pretty repressive idea.
Life, then I'd be ready to do that the right way with my partner.
When I first lost my virginity, I remember it was like talking to a guy for a couple days on Tinder. He was just like, I have a place. Do you want to come over? It finally happened. We get into the room, and it just sort of starts happening. And I was
Sizzling
just like,
erotica over
Take
here.
a deep breath. Ask him if he has a condom.
Right.
And then let's just do this. And it happened. He was apparently so high that he had forgotten that he had sex with me in the first place.
Oh my God.
Wait, did you rape him? Wait, hold on.
I got a text message the next day being like, there's Carl's Jr. in my fridge. What did we do?
Oh my God.
I was just like, I can't do this. No, I need to find somebody else.
Yeah.
That could really hurt.
Do you regret your decision at all, or are you like, you're good with it, the way it happened?
It wasn't my favorite experience, but I don't regret it. You know, I gave my consent. I went through it, and I was just like, okay.
Okay,
I
what about the
understand what I
guy
want now.
though? Wait, hold on. If a guy was here and he was like, yeah, she was so drunk she didn't remember after, she was like, dude, why is there Carl's Jr. in my fridge? And I was like, nah. Like, we would all know that was rape. Wait, what? How high do you have to be to forget all of that? Like, you have to be super high. Yeah, high on what? Not on weed, right? Like, on what? Was he like smoking meth or whatever? It's happened to me on marijuana. Okay, but I'm saying is that regardless of the drug you're taking, you have to be really, really high to forget the whole content of the evening, right? I mean, you can't be just like functionally like kind of high, but then you forget it all, right? Like maybe he could have been crossfaded. The only point that I'm making is that he had to be demonstrating some degree of impairment. Could she have been high as fuck as well? Oh, that's true. Maybe they both got really high together, and like she just remembered it and he didn't. I don't know. Look, guys, be careful out there, okay? This feels weird.
For me, it was not completely consensual, so it wasn't really my choice. He was like kind of threatening to like break up with me if I didn't. I was just like, well, I love him so much and I don't want him to feel like I don't love him. And so I ended up doing it. And to be honest, like I don't remember much in the experience just because like I dissociated a lot. I was like trying to protect myself, but I don't regret it because I did my best with what I had, and like it's just like I don't think I could have changed anything because I vocalized like when I was uncomfortable, and it just, he didn't really care. So I definitely was not ready, but I do have a better relationship with sex now. And
Oh, that's good to know. You know, it's very much a semantic thing, but I have heard it said that it and I have heard it said that, like, it's probably better to not even consider rape sex, right? Like, you're still a virgin or whatever. Like, it's like, oh, you were raped? Okay, but, like, that's not sex, you know? Like, it's kind of like boxing, right? Sex is like boxing, okay? But would you say, like, yeah, I've boxed before if one time you got mugged in an alley and somebody beat the shit out of you? No, you really wouldn't, because sex has rules. Consent being the big one. So, yeah, but, like, if you were raped, like, the rules aren't there. Like, the rules have very been broken. So, like, that doesn't even, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm getting at here? Okay, yeah, okay.
I've made like a lot of progress too.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
Healing.
Thanks, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you for
I
sharing.
wanted to say I'm sorry that happened to you, but everything does happen for a reason. And
Ah! All right, we found the villain of this panel. There we go. There we go. Ah, this guy. Hey, yeah, there we go. Now we got somebody to hate. This bitch. Okay. All right. Now we know. Yeah, you know, like, oh yeah, you're right, but like Allah willed it, so yeah, okay, cool.
and it's a learning experience, so it could only.
Again, I ask you, why do Republicans hate conservative Muslims? If you're in Texas or you're in Saudi Arabia, the conservative religious right is like basically the same, you know?
Goes up from here.
Yeah.
You know?
No, don't agree. Hit her. Don't do that. But don't agree.
Yeah. I do believe I learned a lot, but it feels weird to be like, that happened for a reason, because like, in a way that would almost excuse his behavior.
Yeah.
And I know that like, with like good intentions, like everything does happen for a reason. I totally believe that.
Dude, she's actually like rolling back live. Like all it took was she's like, yeah, you know, well, what if like rape is God's plan? Oh yeah, well, I guess like she's folding back immediately. Look, it's easy to make fun or whatever, but like people are super delicate about this kind of shit, like being sexually assaulted. I've never been sexually assaulted, but like I get it. I don't know, like it seems pretty consistent behavior. Stuff like this is really, 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 really damaging. Because like all it takes is a little bit of pushback sometimes to just completely roll back a person's like self-confidence or like self-actualization of these issues, you know?
Too.
Yeah.
And I did learn a lot from it, and I don't think I'd be here like talking about it if it didn't happen. So
Right.
I get like how the universe works, and like,
Yeah, you could just like hit her and be like, you know, everything happens for a reason. I don't know. Don't actually do that in Roblox.
it's just how it happened.
It just
but
happened, yeah.
Dude, it's just how it
that's,
happened,
like, not
dude.
To say
It's
that
just
what he did was okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
dude, it's
I was
crazy
taught what consent looks like.
in Roblox. Wait, what? I was taught what consent looks like. Oh yeah, no, nobody gets taught this. In America, it's actually
Okay.
illegal to tell
Can I
people
have
what
all
consent
my
is.
disagreeers please come forward.
Nobody gets taught what consent is.
Funny seeing you guys all here. Yeah. Love our society and school system.
In sex ed, we were taught how to put a condom on, what chlamydia is, what AIDS is. You're taught everything except you guys even want to do it.
True.
That's a great point.
Okay, so I went to an all
Sex ed is basically like, here's how you get pregnant, and here's why sex is only for pregnancy, because if you have sex for pleasure, your cock explodes and you die. And that's it. The broader complexities of sex. I feel like a lesson plan of consent should be like really obvious shit, you know? Like that should be fairly straightforward.
girls private school, and then we were partnered with an all boys private school as well. When I asked them what their sex ed was like, they were like, the teacher said, we know you're gonna do it, so here's how you do it, here's how you put the condom on. They told them everything. For us, it was taught by my PE teacher. And, right, and so then he was like, the best way to prevent pregnancy is to be abstinent. And I was like, that tells me nothing. What do you mean? And then they never talked about consent like within that either. And so when I reported my sexual assault incident, which wasn't the one that I described earlier, but
Oh my god.
I like did say no. And so I brought that up to their attention, and they were just like, okay, but you stayed in the relationship after. So that basically means you're consenting to everything else.
Wait for God,
And I was
bitch,
like,
to say,
"That's
at least
not
this
what that
happened for a
means."
reason.
Like, even legally.
So bad.
And so I know, and so then I went to my school counselor, and she was like, I have a friend who's in a different police department. So I talked to that police officer, and he was like, you could probably press charges against the first police department that you went to. But I was just like so over talking to a different police officer, I was just like, this is too much, so I just left it at that. So
Yeah, this is why some people are like, dude, she claimed she was raped, but she didn't even file a police report. Dude, filing a police report and the whole process, this is such an unfathomable pain in the ass. Like, it's not just a pain in the ass. It's like this horrifying, demoralizing, worthless waste of time. Like 90% of the time, they don't even test the rape kits. They don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody teaches. Nobody tests.
So I think what's wrong is the fact that no one can agree what consent looks like what the green lights are, what the red lights are, and just like even a yellow light, that should be stopped.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's really well said.
Yeah.
Oh, we got like the indoor clapping. That's nice. Yeah, consent's pretty easy, dumbasses. Just ask. Just ask if you want it. That's it. It's simple. I don't know why people are like, I don't want to ruin the mood by asking. What are you, are you the Twilight? Where all of your sexual cues are given through moodily staring at one another? Just be like, you're kissing. Hey, wanna fuck? I don't know. I like hearing yes. Yeah. Hey, what? Hey, what? Would you like to have sex? Yes. Oh, cool. I like hearing that. I don't know. Do some people you get turned off by hearing yes? I don't know. It's just I just ask. Pretty easy. If they look hesitant, ask. Why do you look hesitant? Okay, Vaush, but what if she says yes? Then I don't know. You're good. If they look hesitant, then ask why. If they say, actually, I don't wanna, then say okay, and then stop. It's just easy. Yeah, if they say yes, then just come instantly. Like a real, like a Chad. Just instantly blow your load, like we're supposed to, or like a Sigma male, okay? It's like really basic communication. The people who say like the left wants you to sign consent sheets, I think these people are virgins. Have you ever had sex? It's usually pretty easy to tell when the person you're having sex with wants to have sex with you. If you're fucking like a super unemotional person or whatever, like maybe they look super neutral, like you should, you know, like, hey, are you down? Like, you having fun? Like, this what you, like, you can talk with them. Just talk. Jesus. And it's good to ask, too, because, like, if you're about to fuck and they look a little hesitant, like, ask why. It could be they're just worried about your monster cock barreling out their body, and they're concerned about the physics of what's about to happen, you know? Or it could be they're kind of hesitant about the whole thing. Sometimes their hesitancy is actually kind of hot because you ask and they're like, well, hey, you look hesitant. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just ready to have a new hole bored in me, you know, and I'm just getting ready for it. And that's hot. But then maybe she's like, actually, I don't know. And then you can go, oh, that's fine. I'm a regular human being who can just like jerk off later. It's fine. Don't say that out loud. That comes off as guilt trippy, you know?
I learned that whenever something happens, I kind of freeze. And I was assaulted at one point. It was during a dance. Those dances, I do admit, they kind of turned into a grind fest.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all fun and everything like that. But then this one guy who I was with started getting very touchy with me. And it's very cramped. Like, I try to move, somebody pushes me back. I can't, like, leave. So first thing that happens to me is, like, my body sort of freezes. And it was kind of like a, should I let him keep going? Should I keep playing until I have an out? And my mind was kind of racing, but I was kind of frozen at the same time. And then finally, he took my hand, took me out of the crowd, and started walking towards the bathrooms. I just ran off, and I went and found my friend group, and I was just like, he thought I was consenting. That was definitely not it. So it definitely was kind of hard to figure out the idea of concept at the time.
That stuff can get super dicey. For me personally, I'm not comfortable in any of those environments because I have no idea what's going on through other people's heads, you know? So like if I'm like dancing it up in like a club environment or something, like if I'm like grinding up against somebody, it's totally possible that they're super, super into that. But it's also possible that they super aren't. And I like, to me, the ambiguity is totally uninteresting, you know? What you can do is if you're at a club like that, you can talk to people out by the bar or wherever you can hear each other. And then if you've established some kind of mutual rapport, you can bring them in and then dance against them like there. Or sometimes there are like really obvious tells, you know? Like, for example, back when in the very few times I actually have gone clubbing, like if a person like bumps up against you and then like looks at you and then puts their arm around you and lets you put their arm around them and then grinds against you, this is like a very strong indicator of mutual consent. This is a fairly clear indication of mutual interest that's reasonable to interpret that way. But even then, that was in an environment where they could pull away if they wanted because we weren't all bumper to bumper. So yeah, I don't know. This happens IRL. Well, in clubs sometimes, yeah. Not like at Ben and Jerry's. It's never happened to me at Ben and Jerry's, but it's happened to me at a club.
Yeah. It sounds like he just assumed, and that you should never assume someone has consent.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry that happened.
Yeah, and especially I was a sophomore at the time, and I was definitely very much a virgin, so I was just like, no way in hell am I doing this right now.
Well, for me, for the longest time, consent means marriage, but I realized that that's not always the case because there could be assaults in marriage. Like if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to, you know, because it's your body, your choice, and just because you're married to that person doesn't mean you're obliged to, you know, follow through and do that with them. So.
Okay. I want you all to know, I want the redemption arc, okay? If we can get character development, just...
So I just have a vague idea of the whole subject because it's kind of like an untalked about topic in our religion, but just hopefully down the road, once we actually get to that point, then we gain more knowledge and education on it, so it could be a better experience for everyone.
I actually grew up in Minnesota in a town of 1,000 people, so you know.
This is no hate, but I feel like when I see people who have hair like this, that's the vibe I get too. Like, I was born into a tiny conservative town, and like, I don't live there anymore, and here are my tattoos and hair, you know? No hate. I'm respecting it. I'm just saying, it's a pattern I've noticed.
Really awesome sex education, as you can assume.
So fun. Of course.
Honestly, it wasn't probably the worst, but since I'm asexual, I don't really have a sex drive either or whatever, so I was like,
that's so confusing.
I should try to figure out what this is. And so then...
I'm just sorry. How good of a show prompt for Jubilee would it be if it was virgins versus virgins, and it was just 5 like guys on both ends, like gamers, and they just asked them the questions, you know? That would be the good shit too. I wonder if they... Not like them fighting, but like the discourse like this, like how it's virgins versus non-virgins now, but like yeah, virgins versus incels, yeah.
With my first
Volcel versus incel. That's what I want to see, okay? I want it to be like 20 incels and like 3 Chad Volcels. They're all like Orthodox Jews or like conservative Christians or Muslims or whatever. They all have huge square jaws, like big rippling muscular arms, and they're like, yeah, I'm saving myself for my future wife and for God. And there's a bunch of like swarming incels around them. I don't know. This is very stupid. Let's continue.
Like boyfriend, we had been like dating. We met like first week of college and everything, and it was going all swell and everything. And then it was kind of getting to the point where you like assume would probably like, you know, start like kissing or like have sex and stuff like that. And I was starting to get really like anxious and nervous. Like, how am I gonna tell him not only that I'm a virgin? I guess I didn't really care that much since we are all like, you know, still young. But the idea of being like, I like don't want to really be physical with you really was eating at me. And the idea of having a conversation that's like intimate like that is always hard for anyone. And I didn't know how to bring it up to my partner at the time. And we were just like in his dorm room or whatever, and I just started like crying. And I was like, I don't like know how to tell you this, but like I like identify as asexual, and like if you don't want to be with me because I won't like have sex with you. Like I understand. Like I like felt broken, which is something that a lot of asexuals feel, but it's so not true. Like everyone is valid and everyone can be loved, and you don't have to have sex to be intimate with someone. And I just remember in that moment,
I'm saying
such a
that
low
there's
point,
already
and just always growing in communication from there on out. And I hope no one ever has to feel like they have to feel like someone won't love them because they won't want to be physical with them or something.
Yeah.
So
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Some people are asexual, and I mean, that's their right. I hope people can be like forthcoming with that stuff, you know? There's like an old trope, you know, with like once you get married, the wife stops putting out. And I have to wonder how many times that's happened, because like the wife was like asexual but had to put up with it. It felt like she had to put up with it for like the sake of getting married. But then as soon as she was married, there was no reason to maintain that or anything like that. I don't know. Yeah, or lesbian or something. I don't know. Yeah, I have to wonder about that stuff. It's important to be like forthcoming about info like that, because a lot of people aren't gonna mind, you know? I guess if you're asexual, you probably will. So I've heard people describe themselves as asexual when what they mean is like, I only want to fuck this one person, or like I don't have as much of a sex drive or whatever. So it seems like there's a really broad spectrum for what asexual means. No, demisexual. Yeah, I know. But I've heard asexual, like there's a huge spectrum for what people, if you like don't want to have sex, period, you know, while it's true that's going to preclude you from relationships with some people because they want to fuck, maybe, like, that doesn't mean that there's no options available at all. And it's important to be open because it's way better than like suffering in silence, you know? And some ace people do have sex and they enjoy sex. Some people are like, yeah, I'm ace. Yeah, I'm horny for sex. We exist. I don't know what any of this means anymore. Just be open and find people who care about you, okay?
Never entirely had to deal with that, only on a few occasions. One in particular, I was just picking up a lunch pail from my friend from work, and we worked a different shift than the girl ahead of us, and I texted her like, hey, can you bring my friend's lunch pail over? And I knew she was into me just by the way she would look at me, and she would try and talk to me. I'm like, okay. And then we just ended up hanging out in her car, and we're just talking. That's just how I am. I just like to talk with people.
Some ace people like how it feels, but don't have the desire, so they do it when their partner wants it, enjoys it. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, they don't have a sex drive, but they still enjoy sex. Like, I think most people, the sex drive and the enjoyment of sex are actually two different things. Like, for me, sometimes I'm horny and I just want to, like, jerk off or whatever, but I don't even, like, care. Like, I don't even care about the jerking off. It's just the drive in the brain. It's just some stupid fucking hormone biology shit, you know? So I guess someone cannot have the drive, but they can be like super into the sex when it happens. Like, for example, I don't have a biological drive to get my like feet massaged. I haven't gotten a foot massage in years. I don't care about them. I don't think about them. But when I get a foot massage, like, they're pretty great, right? Like, if they're done well, like, I'm sitting there and it's like, oh wow, this kind of rocks. But then I don't do it again for years, you know? I guess that's what it's like, right? Asexuals can have the sex drive too. Okay, I'm just trying to...
Really cool with that. And then I started poking her, just joking around. That's just how I am, you know? She took my hand and she licked my finger.
Oh, okay.
And I was
That's a hard move.
COVID.
What do you think we're doing around? We're just chilling. Like we're just like right after, she straight up told me that she wanted me to fuck her.
Whoa.
Legit like that.
Yes.
I was just like, I stopped looking at her. I sat in my chair. I was like, what? I was just like trying to process everything. Like, I thought.
Dude, like, we were hanging out at her place and she shut the bedroom door and she was like, you know, my parents aren't going to be here for a couple hours. And then she was like, do you mind if I change into something comfortable? And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. Comfort is awesome, you know? And then she took all her clothes off and I thought, yeah, I guess this is just how, like, This is just how she feels most comfortable. Then she sat in the bed, started leaning into me and kissing my neck. And I thought, like, oh, maybe this is part of some kind of, like, you know, like greeting ritual for her people or something, you know? And then, like, she started taking my hand and cramming it into her asshole. And I thought, oh, maybe it's, like, cold? Oh, my hand was kind of cold, you know? Maybe, like, I don't know. Yeah, she's Canadian. This is her people.
So we're just vibing and we're just
You've
chilling.
already done this bit. I'm going to do it again.
That was a turn on, but then also a turn off. It's like, that wasn't my intent for you to come over. I just needed to you to bring my friend's lunch pail.
Yeah.
And you just want to get it on like that.
Yeah, fucking Sigma male right here. He starts like sucking on his fingers. He's like, hey, I just wanted you to run an errand. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I asked for. I'm very turned off right now.
It made me
Stop trying to fuck me and give me my lunchbox.
And then it was just straight shot somewhere else.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that if like a more femme person were to present the story, the like narrative would be totally different. And I think that's really interesting to consider, like if a guy like came onto a girl like that during like a lunch work thing, the circumstances would be so much
Squad W.
different versus like we're kind of like laughing with you
Reverse
versus
the
like
roles.
No, I like that you said that because those kind of like biases pass us all the time. We never really realize them until someone brings it up, and you're absolutely right because I totally would have changed the whole like the way I saw everything.
But she's unironically right, Vaush. Yeah, she is. She's not wrong.
I've been like, that's so scary.
It's just how it is for the male. If you're more, you know, masculine, they expect you to always want sex all the time.
Yep.
You know, but sometimes it's just not what you want to happen, and it's not really spoke about either when like you're a victim of like sexual assault as a man, or if you're more masculine, they're just gonna be like, oh, what was wrong with that situation? So it's like it's
In that situation, like my friends, in a joking way, they would think something's wrong with me. As in like, why didn't you do it? Like, are you gay?
Yeah.
For me, I think they see it, or they have seen it, sex as kind of just like a fun activity, but I see it as so much more.
You value it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like a good foundation first,
Yes.
where you guys have that trust and like that love embedded.
Exactly.
Where it makes sense.
If we're gonna be doing this together, I have to feel like we're both in this together.
Yeah.
And like it goes even further than just that moment.
Yeah.
Cause
Right.
yeah.
It's not physical. It's like your soul connection. You know,
Exactly.
your souls connect, and you will.
All right. Okay. Don't push me out of this. Okay.
Connect forever. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's also important to note that not everyone agrees that it's a soul connection, and
Yeah, absolutely.
just opening the conversation
Oh, yeah.
about
Yeah.
people have different perceptions of it too. So I
Absolutely.
think that's important to note, and that's why there can also be like not equivalent forms of consent too. If
right.
someone like thinks of sex as something that's super important and spiritual and all that, but someone else is like, oh, it's just like exercising or something.
Based. Listen, okay? Physical sex is just your bodies, okay? Soul fucking is leaning against each other on the couch playing a single player game together with one person holding the controller and the other person constantly giving advice, okay? That's soul fucking, all right?
It's just 3 p.m.
You can do both at the same time. It's
Put
possible.
Too
It's
much
just
importance on virginity.
bring it in.
I think there is too much of an importance on it. I think it's made out to be,
True,
it's
man.
just gonna be amazing, and this is how it's gonna be. Everyone like talks it up, everyone talks a big game about it, and sometimes it can be. I've had friends who say they're like gonna wait for marriage, and they do, and then they tell me like, that was it, like that's what all the hype was about, and so then they're just like, they've gone like their whole lives identifying with this one thing that they've never even really experienced, and then it's just like shattered.
True. You know, sex is like that office game you play, like the trust building game where one person falls back and gets caught by the other person, except everyone's telling you can only do this with the person you marry, you know? This is the ultimate in trust building exercises. It's so intimate that it can only be experienced between a person whose soul has been entwined with yours in holy matrimony. And then you do it after getting married. It's like, oh, okay. Like, it's cool, I guess. I don't know. Dude, sex is fun, but like, so here's the thing that bugs me, okay? If you think that sex is more meaningful with a person you deeply care about, that's great. Seriously, that's based, okay? The problem I have is the idea that you or the sex you have becomes devalued by having sex with people you aren't married to or don't care about. That's the thing. If you think that sex is like at its best with the person you're married to, that's cool, but it's weird to me that it's like I get devalued by having sex outside of that engagement. You could at least brush up on the basics, how to ride or whatever. I don't know. You could at least like keep yourself, you know, afresh. Maybe work out if you have any like serious issues with sex you might want to be aware of before marrying a person. Something. I don't know.
And they've taken on this identity for so long, then they're like, I don't know who I am. And like that's something a lot of my friends have struggled with. I feel like there's not enough conversation about how you feel after the fact if you are previously really tied to the concept of being a virgin.
So I'm like 50-50 on this. It should be importance on it, just for the fact that if you do slip and mess up, you can have a kid. And I guess that's a big thing for me is why.
Well, that's not really about virginity. That's just about like proper contraception.
I'm still a virgin, is that I'm not ready for kids yet. And also with virginity, ever since like all the way to elementary school, I've heard girls losing their virginity, which is crazy for me to think. The joking adds to it, like we all joke around with topics and stuff, but it just adds to the importance that we view it, so.
Just gonna say, if you had any friends who are bragging about having sex in elementary school, they were probably fucking lying, okay? Just gonna point that out, okay? If you're at any time in high, middle, or elementary school or whatever, person's like, yeah, dude, I totally got, like, they're probably fucking lying, or they're being groomed, okay? Just it's not good. I feel like I should probably interject this with a very quick life lesson, and it's don't use the pull-out method. It fucking sucks, okay? It doesn't, don't do it, okay? Don't do that, okay? Use a condom, all right? Use a condom, dude, use a condom. Why? Because it's not good. You're like, yeah, dude, I'm totally gonna have self-control while coming. Yeah, allow me to demonstrate my force of will by exercising self-control at the worst possible moment. Pre-cum can cause pregnancy because it carries sperm in your urethra up. Pre-cum in and of itself doesn't carry sperm, but if you've nutted recently, there's still sperm in your urethra that can be carried through with pre-cum. If you've sandblasted the inside of your urethra with a power tool, or have, like, dick-chugged bleach, then you probably don't have any leftover sperm in there, and the pre-cum doesn't have any, like, potential pregnancy issues or anything. But you should still be careful.
I hear what you're saying about, like, we maybe need to have the idea, like the word virgin or virginity, to have conversations about it, but when you think about it, there's so many things in life that we don't have like a label or a word for. Like even just thinking about like, oh, like having kissed someone, it's not like, oh, like, yeah, let's come up with a word for someone who's kissed someone, like I'm a sex haver, I'm a
virgin,
kiss haver,
right?
like, it's like even thinking about the idea of virginity, I think the importance that's put on it is like very toxic, because it is talking about like usually the idea of like penis in vagina sex, and it's like, like that sounds like really like stupid to say, like, but it is like what people's like, I'd say mainstream notion of what is virginity, and it's like making this like pedestal of purity and this heteronormative experience of what is virginity, and I just think it's outdated and should be eradicated.
I think it very much like pushes forward the idea of purity culture, because if you also look at the definition of virgin, it comes from sexually intact woman, and that's implying that it only happens to women. Only women can be virgins, and we know that's not true.
You hear that, fellas? None of you are virgins anymore. Congratulations, you've all broken free. Da 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 da
I mean, right. I take issue with the fact that it also says sexually intact. Like, as if you lose something and you're all of a sudden destroyed. And, like, you don't lose anything. And, like, it's still, like, a great experience for both partners, hopefully. It's weird that we felt a need to put a label on that part of...
Yeah, again, I don't know who knows or doesn't know this, but, hymen aren't, like, solid barriers that are broken or anything. Like, it's... The hymen is usually, yeah, the hymen can break on its own. It's usually just like, how do I describe this? What's a funny meme way I can describe this? I can't think of a funny meme way. It's just not. Shut up. It's like wishbone. It's like, it's usually like a band around the...
women who are sexually intact, as opposed to someone bi.
Word things so perfectly. Right. Hard for me to speak.
It's like a butthole when you got a big poop.
No, it's perfect. I love it.
I think for me, when, I don't know, just the environment that I grew up in, with how high school was, I felt like it was kind of like, if you're a non-virgin, you're one of us. If you're still a virgin, it's just like, you kind of forget that you exist. So that was sort of like my perspective on that.
What?
Yeah, I was listening and I was like, wow, that's really cool how you guys like think about that. For me personally, for me personally, I think there is a huge importance on keeping your virginity. It's not more like you're a virgin or you're not, it's how you lose your virginity, and how you should, or we're supposed to lose our virginity is by being married. And so for myself, like, I hold the same expectation for my future spouse, that because the same regulations apply to him, you know? He had to stay a virgin until marriage. And actually, in our religion, like, doing anything intimate, getting close to anything that goes without meaning, like hand-holding or just like kissing or anything, all of those are strongly prohibited, and it's because it's all sin. If I fall in love with that person, or if they come into my life and they're not a virgin, then I know it would be okay if they understand that that was a sin and they ask for forgiveness. Is how it works, basically.
This sucks. This shit, like, this sucks so much. Like, just, like, it just sucks so fucking much hearing this, like, from the outside. Like, you get one life, and this is, and like, these are the fucking walls you're building? God, that sucks, dude.
I never knew all that. I guess this is just like an open-ended question. How have your perceptions...
By the way, I've met a lot of Muslim people, and I've never met one who was this strict. I don't know what type of branch of Islam she follows to be this orthodox but not cover her hair. Because I've met much more liberal Muslim women who cover their hair. So I don't know. I mean, religion's complicated. I don't know what all the different branches are, but yeah.
Virginity changed from when you were younger to where you are now? Like, is there any difference? Something new you learned?
Yeah, mine definitely has changed for sure. And I remember, like, around
Yes,
the
the
time
little
where,
yellow suit is
you know,
cute.
I was debating about losing my virginity and stuff like that. I kind of ran into some people, you know, when I was online dating. Like, as soon as I tell them, it's like, it's almost like they're kind of fetishizing me in a way where it's just like, you're a virgin, I'm ready to take that. And it's just like, they're just trying to figure out, like, as soon as I have one date with them, they're just like trying to get it in. I'm just like, absolutely not. No, stay away. 6 feet apart.
Right. I only like...
Yeah, some people super fetishize virginity, which is pretty weird because virgins suck at sex. You know, they're actually the worst people at sex. They have literally no practice. So I don't get it. It's like, damn, you'd think you'd be out fucking MILF hunting or something, you know? Yeah, they want someone to impress. It's like a self-esteem thing. If you fuck a virgin girl, like, that's like like, she doesn't have a standard to compare you to, you know what I mean? Like, she can't, because what a lot of guys fear, especially if they're insecure, is they'll fuck a girl and they'll, like, roll over and they'll be like, ah, that was okay. Not as cool as when Tyrone and his big black dick tunneled me out 12 inches, big MILF dick cum nut. But yours is okay, I guess. And then they, like, leave or something. I don't know. That's what a lot of them, like, deeply fear. That has never happened. It doesn't stop them from fearing it. Yeah, and it's about exercising control over a person who isn't as experienced and doesn't know what they like.
Asked that because I grew up Catholic, so I thought I was going to save myself for marriage too, and I grew up thinking like it's going to be a beautiful magical thing that's only meant for my husband, and then it obviously just didn't work like that. And so after that happened, I kind of had a weird relationship with sex for a while, but then it changed my perspective on it a lot, and I was like, it's just like a normal thing that people can do. And so I didn't really want to put it on a pedestal as much as I had before.
There's a lot of gray matter when it comes to virginity now. I know a person out there that she didn't want to be a non-virgin anymore. She didn't want to have sex, so she let him.
Wait, she didn't want to be a non-virgin anymore? I assume he meant the opposite.
Put in, do anal instead.
Oh.
Actually, in our religion, doing anal is prohibited. It's like not allowed. So anal is not even a.
Damn, you're losing to Catholics then.
But for me, like, if you were to like lose your virginity, it would be a man and a woman having intercourse. There's no gray area.
Do you think she knew that because she looked it up herself or something? You know? Like, fuck. Come on. God damn it.
It's interesting that the definition changes among different cultures and religions too.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of weird to be like.
Do you think she's homophobic? Well, she's pretty, like, religious and conservative, so I'd say, yeah, probably. But, I mean, if she can't have anal, why would the gays be able to have anal? Like, yeah, no one can have anal. No anal.
This is a virgin, not virgin. Because we all do different things. We all believe different things.
Exactly.
So personally, I don't even know how to answer the question because I don't agree with virginity as like a word or a concept.
I feel like the idea of being open about what I have and haven't done is more important than being like, yeah, I'm a virgin. Like, I just do what I want, or whatever I feel is like comfortable for me. So.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your personality. The only instance in which your virginity means shit is if you're being put to a test of your sex skill. In which case, virginity will hurt you. You will lack the sex skill. The last time I had sex with a person who was a virgin, she was actually kind of a fucking chat about it. It was like in Tinder in Los Angeles, and she was like, we talked for a while, and she was like, yeah, I'm a virgin, and I'm going off to, like, college off in Chicago soon, and, like, I just don't want to have to think about it, so, like, let's just fuck beforehand, you know? That was a pretty Chad attitude, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, like, listen, I've got a lot on my mind, and I don't really want to have to bother with this, so, yeah, let's just get this over with. But, you know, it's nice. She was pretty cool.
I have been judged for my sexual or
Wasn't she going to music school or something? That was before we were dating. Yeah, it was right before we dated. Yeah, she was going off to a music school. And she was, she was pretty good. I mean, she was enthusiastic. That's what matters most, really. Consent and enthusiasm, okay? That matters more than any technical skill. Just be happy to be there. If you want to. If you don't want to, then don't be there.
or non-sexual choices.
Would you look at that?
Cool.
Okay. It's almost like you can't do anything without being.
Oh my God.
Where? There was times that even I judged, and then now I look at it, I was dumb, an idiot, because when I was judging, I was probably like, in high school still, I was still immature. It was just very immature actions from me. And then now that I have hindsight with it, it makes me think like, why is their actions, their beliefs affecting my day?
This question gives me a lot of anxiety because like I have been like called like slut, like whore, like that doesn't bother me. But my experience is a little different because when I was assaulted and
I feel like being called a slut if you're a woman is like how Nazis will call everyone they don't like a Jew. Like it doesn't matter. It's just they just say it. It doesn't matter. They'll just throw that one out there no matter what.
Talking about it, I had to talk to my mom, and
or Tanky calling you an imperial.
she kind of like, asked me like, well, why did you like get in the car? Like, why were you at his house? And I guess like putting more of the blame on me, which is really difficult because she's my mom and she's like.
If that religious
sorry.
bitch speaks up. Oh, okay, all right, okay.
She's like supposed to like take care of me and like uplift me, and it's just hard because I like go to her with this like huge thing that happened to me, and just for her to react like, why would you do that? It's like I don't understand like why that was my fault. And like everyone like always tells me like it's not your fault, and like I know that. It's just it's hard. Like sometimes I'll get caught up in being like, oh, I guess it was my fault because I did choose to date him and like I did stay. But to my credit, like he was like mentally abusive and like sexually abusive, so I didn't know how to leave. And I grew up thinking like, oh, you date to marry, and so I wanted to make it work so badly. And so that's like why I stayed, and like I just.
It's genuinely baffling that a lot of anyone would think this kind of shit is her fault. So I've noticed this with women specifically, but I think a lot of the victim blaming comes down to the mom not wanting to acknowledge what happened to her back before. Because like nobody like if you get told, you know, what happened to you wasn't rape, you asked for blah blah, and then you have a daughter and the same thing happens to them, if you acknowledge that it was rape to them, you have to acknowledge it was rape to you, and that unravels all the relationships you had with the people who victim blamed you. So it's like an infinite like fucking Gordian knot going backward in time, you know? It's the same with spanking, right? Like your grandpa spanked your dad spanks you, and then you've got a kid, right? And it's like, well, if I say that spanking them is wrong, then I have to acknowledge my dad abused me, and then my grandpa abused him, blah, and my dad won't accept it because then he'd have to go after my grandpa, and blah. It's like the cyclical stuff can be really, really, really tough to unravel. I'm guessing that's probably part of the reason the religious lady spoke up earlier, because she hasn't been horrible really since then, apart from generally being super conservative. And it suggests to me that those attitudes, the like, you know, everything happens for a reason, might legit be her coping mechanism for the bad stuff that happens in her life, you know? And then if she doesn't believe that for other people, then she has to accept that the stuff that happened to her wasn't for a reason. And then it's like, oh God, you know? So, I don't know.
Just wanted it to work out, and that's how like I was just taught. And so then like after the whole experience, I was like, I guess like I need to be able to like take care of myself and set my own boundaries and know when to leave.
Fine.
And it sucks I had to learn it the hard way, but at least I know now, and I know it's not my fault, and like it is like something that still sticks with me from time to time, but I'm learning how to like be better with it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Probably have a different experience than most of you guys, or I guess all of you, but like with being so open about being asexual, like there's not many people who talk about it, especially online, even in real life and everything, and I feel like I've been like immensely judged for it, and even in my videos about being like asexual, primarily on TikTok,
Video? Oh, of course.
I get like
of course, TikTok,
so many
of
death
course.
threats and people being like, you just can't have sex, like you're ugly, like you wouldn't get laid, like you're a blue-haired girl. Like even for me, I'm like such a strong person, I feel like it's hard to get thousands of people telling you this is fake. And even for me, sometimes it's like, is this fake? Like everyone else feels this way. Why do I feel this way? And sometimes even for me, it can get like hard and be like, damn, like, am I broken? Which I know is not true at the end of the day, but.
Yeah, I think for me, I've been judged by like society or like my peers that, oh, she's a virgin, like why, like, you know, type of thing. But it's just like the Western point of view or whatever that like, oh, you never had a first kiss, like why haven't you kissed anyone yet or something like that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not allowed to, not supposed to, you know, like, I don't know, like, and that's just like growing up, it was just harder to explain that. And it was just.
I'm sorry, God, that sucks. It sucks so much, like, oh man. Sucks so much.
Harder for me to explain, accept that about myself, but then, you know, as you grow older and you understand that people are just different and you just hold yourself true to your values, then you understand yourself more, you know? So I feel like I have definitely been judged, but I feel like if I were not to be, like, God forbid I wasn't a virgin or something like that, or if I have done something, I would have been judged, especially like people like in the culture and the religion, they would judge me for doing such and such, you know? So it's just like on both ends, like you'll be judged either way.
I've been questioned if I'm gay, even from my own parents. You too? It doesn't really bother me. I've always been, even with my friends, I've always been very open on my sexuality, and I'm a virgin. And like, they've been really cool about it. Like, they would joke about it, but just as friends, but never really like poked me hard enough to where like, dude, we're making fun of you because we just don't like the way you are. They've always been really cool about it. So I think just the way I've carried myself with that oh yeah, I'm a virgin. Like, I'm not telling everybody, but just the way it is. They've always been pretty cool about it. But from a judgment standpoint, they've always it's always been in a joking way.
In a joking way?
Yeah.
Because it's not the biggest part of you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't
I'm really glad they got Sigma representation at this.
define you.
Bye, guys. I love you guys. 2, 3.
The virginity.
All right, that's nice. I'm glad. All right, well, we touched on some real and serious themes here. We all grew as people, I think, and that's awesome. You know, I'm really happy that we all grew as people because of all of that. That's very cool. No, I don't think the yellow suit girl was a villain. As fun as it is to frame her that way. I mean, the victim, she must have been a victim of a tremendous amount of religious propaganda. I imagine a lot. It's the cycle thing, you know.